Welcome to episode 83 of Retro Encounter, RPG Fans Off-Topic Podcast. I can't do the skeletal voice any longer. I'm sorry. I'm Peter Triezenberg. I have Fury on the boards. Mike, this is why you should never let me host things. Joining me today for the second part of our Darksiders discussion is Marcos Gaspar.
Hey there, Wild Armor on the boards.
And Keegan Lee.
Hey guys, Fozzie Bear on the boards.
All right, so we're back, and we're here to continue the adventure of War, a rider of the apocalypse, and the most heavy metal man to ever wander the face of the earth. This game takes a turn. I think is the best way to say it. I think we've all got our fair share of gripes to go over. I guess just to start off from where we left off, the Ashlands. Did we have fun with the sandworms? Yeah, that sums it up.
I mean, I talked to you personally about it, Peter, but man, those worms were... I added, I want to say, probably about an hour worth of gameplay just because of that part of avoiding the worms.
Like, yeah, the sandworms are, for the third area of the game, it sends you to the obligatory, it's like the obligatory desert level, but you can only stay on the sand for a certain amount of time before one of the worms from Dune pops up and swallows you whole. and it gets annoying, which brings up something I did want to introduce about Darksiders, that I think we're going to see coming up time and time again in this discussion, which is one-off gameplay gimmicks. Because this is the point of the game, especially, where they start introducing concepts that, with very few exceptions, don't really ever come back. So, for instance, in the desert area, in order to get past these sandworms, you need to hit these little... they're called chronospheres, these like time stones to slow down time temporarily so you can get across the sand fast enough before one of them eats your face. And they do use that in some of the later dungeons, but it's just one of those things where it's like you have a thing that only comes up in later areas. It's rather frustrating. And then they go and put you in a room with one of them.
Oh, yeah. That was the worst. You mean the one where you had to, like, play chicken with it? Where, like...
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. I mean, like, I was actually, like, being traumatized because I couldn't make it to the end. That last stretches was like, why are you doing this to me? This is not fun. This is not gameplay. It
got me, like, an inch from the safe ground.
Oh my gosh,
like,
yeah. Oh!
Like, it shouldn't even be able to, like, fit through the door. It got me through the door. I was mad.
What about you, Keegan? How was your experience with sandworms?
Oh, man. I was playing that part right next to one of my best friends, and I wish she could tell you guys the escalating anger I felt as each time I was slowly dragged down by dune worms. And like you guys said before, it seemed to really always get me right when I was an inch away from the end. Like, every time I thought I was there, then the cutscene starts and bye-bye war. Like,
yeah. And it cheats. Like, I feel like. It needs to be a certain distance away before you can start to make the dash for the next safe platform, but it seems like that distance isn't consistent, because, like, sometimes it would be as far away as I thought it could be, and then it would still eat me.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that is a frustrating part of the game. But it turns out the secret was all you really need to get was a horse and a gun, and then you're good. Once you're on the horse, it can't eat you anymore.
Yeah, I'm an apocalyptic warrior. You're telling me I can't slice my way out of a sandworm? Like,
that's exactly what you do at the end of the boss fight.
So you can do it to the big ones, but not the little ones, you know.
The little ones are special insta-kill traps because the game developer said so.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was like, you know, it's really sad because I really enjoy desert levels. Like, for me, if you put a desert in a video game, I absolutely love it because those are my favorite types of terrain. Just like hot blazing deserts with sand. and blue skies, and I was like, all right, you got me on there. But then you throw in that boss. I don't even remember what it was called.
The Stygian.
The Stygian. That I didn't. I was not impressed with it. Like, it was a cool concept. Like, all right, cool. I have to jump on my horse and ride around. But you know what
It is straight up the boss versus fight from Shadow of the Colossus. It's the same fight.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It was like a poor man's version of that because, like, you gave me a larger arena. You gave me a horse that's faster than the one that the main character from Shadow of the Colossus uses, and I somehow still wasn't impressed with that. I was like, wow, I am just hitting the charge or the speed button like a lot of times, and I don't know. There wasn't. I didn't have much of a satisfaction with fighting it. Cool death. I'll give you that. He freaking destroyed it.
Oh yeah, how you just come bursting out of it and like with the heart. His giant metal fist. Backing up a bit though, we have a horse. The Horseman of the Apocalypse has a horse, you guys. And it only takes you the halfway point of the game, and then you use it for one boss fight and for one to get to one new area, and then you don't really ever have to use it again.
Yeah. It seemed like it was going to be a really important gimmick. And I was kind of really excited about it, because I'm like, oh, cool, horseback riding, all this cool stuff in combat you can do, but it just didn't seem like it reached its full potential, which I kind of feel is a running thing with the second half of Darksiders, unfortunately.
Yeah, it feels obligatory. Like, well, we have to have horseback riding in here because, well, it's a Zelda clone, so you have to have Epona. But also, it's a Horseman of the Apocalypse, so of course he has to have a horse.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they didn't know when to put it in, so they just decide they smack you in the middle of another one of those annoying third-person shooter sections. You fight your way to a gladiator arena, fight tons of waves of enemies, then you finally get your horse back, and then you really only need to use it for that area. Like, it's only really in the Ashlands that you're ever going to need to use Ruin. I guess you kind of need him for the final boss, but whatever.
Yeah, but everything else though, where you would expect it in those open world parts, just feels a little too cramped. Like, it feels perfect for when you're just war and walking around, but aside from the actual Ashlands itself, it's just kind of unnecessary to bring Ruin out.
Yeah, there's really not really an area of the game that lends itself to like, oh, I really should use a horse to get around faster, or this is a wide open space that would be fun to traverse on horseback, because it's all these tightly packed, like you said, these tightly packed corridors with little nooks and crannies for collectibles and stuff like that, which is fine, but the two don't really mesh together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only issue I had though, with like introducing Ruin. Like, Ruin kind of just like works in the Ashlands. Like, beyond that, like, I'm not really impressed. And then it having the ability to like create these bridges, I forget what they're called, to move on to another area. And it was like, how many times did you do that? Just once or twice?
I think it was just once.
Yeah, to get to the fourth area. And it was like, oh, this is cool. I hope I get to use this again. No.
Nope.
I was like, okay, sure.
And that's also the point where so after that there's the fourth, on your way to the fourth dungeon. It's kind of almost an immediate jump. You bring the third heart back to Samael. He sends you off to get the fourth heart, and then after you cross the bridge with Ruin, it's just this really long, featureless, winding corridor for you to ride the horse on. Then you get kidnapped by the giant spider, and you're in the fourth dungeon. It's like there's just nothing there.
Yeah. Like, I don't think there were even any collectibles in that corridor itself.
No.
I mean, I tried looking.
Barren.
It felt like such a little rushed moment too. No exploration of coming up into the fourth dungeon. It's just, It was like crunch time. We got to go now.
Yep, like all the other dungeons at the very had they had new characters you'd meet. They had plot points building up to them. You had little mini puzzles and optional stuff to find on your way there. But your way to the Iron Canopy is just straight up. it's a straight shot. And to be fair, I think the Iron Canopy is still, I think it's a good dungeon overall. I really like, you get this game's version of the hook shot, which is literally just like a ghost chain that you can, you can either use like the traditional hook shot or you can use it to swing from, which is awesome. And that lends itself, I think, to some really creative puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just the connective tissue is just missing, which is unfortunate.
I do appreciate that with that that hook shop item. The corrupted walls, or the I don't want to call them vines, but like just that veiny wall that you can actually shoot up to it, like the hook shot. And I was like, I appreciate that, because that's a great feeling to do that. And then like being able to jump on there, and then I also, and like video games like hits this on the head. Thank you for making climbing those so much fun, because I can just jump on it, boom, and just speed through it, not like have to painstakingly like go up very slowly, like from like the Legend of Zelda. Like, and that's why I was like, oh, you hit this perfect. I like speed. Oh, I was like, I wish you just brought that speed to him, to war walking, than making him like a garbage truck, just slamming his feet as he goes. Like, I don't care. Give him a dash attack, since you're doing all this stuff, and or a charge spin. Let him spin around like Sonic. I don't care at this point.
Running around at the speed of sound.
I just have the image of War getting hit and just a bunch of rings falling out of him.
I hate that hedgehog.
But I agree, Marcos, that's one thing I really like, is the lack of like a stamina wheel or bar.
Mm-hmm.
For those certain events, it does make it go a lot faster. You can just jump up walls really quick. You can swim very fast. You don't have your air meter or anything like that either during the water events.
Mm-hmm.
But they really could have put that into his walking too, At least a run button.
Yeah, a dash would have been really nice. Like, just something, a way to, I don't know, maybe you hold circle to run. I don't know. I don't have a solution for this idea. Maybe that's the intended use of the horse. That's your quick travel.
No, but unfortunately, like Keegan was saying, it was like certain places were just felt very cramped, and like when I pull him out, he's like, all right, here's a short bit, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. That's great.
Sorry, Ruin. We tried. There's a trophy for riding him for like 500 miles or something like that.
That is unfortunate.
Like, you'd have to try really hard to get that trophy.
I mean,
you just flip the controller upside down and go make a sandwich.
I think I even I clicked like a thing and it was like, yeah, put a rubber band in your controller and go have lunch.
I think there's like one area once you clear out the bad guys in the Ashlands, like those two riders who are there.
Yeah,
like that empty space is just a waste of space. Just like rubber band your controllers and just go make a sandwich, or use the facilities, take a number 2, go play your Switch or something, or just play Persona 5 in the meantime.
Go play Zelda on your Zelda machine while you're waiting for your not Zelda game to give you an achievement.
If you're desperate for that platinum.
I love it. Well, so by that point, this is a point where I want to reiterate, because I think we are coming very negative on some parts of the later half of this game. I really like this game. It has a lot of good things in it that I enjoy. It is also missing a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it also feels like, for me too, the story kind of starts going nowhere fast by this point. So you kill the giant Spider Queen lady, you get the last heart, and up till now they've been pretty much every character you've met has been like, oh, that's Samael, he's bad news, War, he's totally gonna double cross you. You give him the heart, he's gonna get his power back, and it's even treated as some kind of semi-plot twist, I guess, that the reason that the Chosen have the hearts in the first place is because they're actually keeping Samael imprisoned. And then you give him the hearts, and Samael kind of throws a little pissy temper tantrum, and then does nothing. He's just like, okay, bye. We're cool.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Okay, I'm gonna leave the game now.
I could kill you without breaking a sweat. Just pats your back. Good thing I won't. Flies away.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah, I think the only reason why, and I understand the reason why he does that, like, he has a mutual, a respect for him, or rather, a respect for vengeance. But I was like, but please, just portray him. Make this interesting. Give me drama. I want a reason to fight him.
Fight at least.
Yes, give me a boss fight. I'll be fine with that. But you get to fight him in the second game, correct?
You do, but it's weird. Yeah.
I guess I get the boss fight.
You get the boss fight as Death in a different game, but
I do feel like there was a missed opportunity though, because they also build up the kind of rivalry hatred between the Destroyer and Samael. And I just feel like the end game would have been a perfect time for him to make an appearance and do something, whether it be to aid war or hinder him in some way. It just feels like there could have been more with his character arc. I
feel like Samael could have been a cool surprise final boss thing. Like you kill Abaddon. Getting ahead of ourselves, but the angel guy who died at the beginning of the game is actually Satan, guys. Then you kill Abaddon. He loses the Destroyer's mantle. What if Samael showed up last minute and was like, "Okay, this is mine now"?
That would have been awesome.
That would have at least put a bow on the end. But they were probably thinking they were going to be able to make that sequel that they never made.
Talk about a cliffhanger that lasts.
The eternal cliffhanger. They're the worst kind.
It's kind of like watching an episode of Digimon. It just ends on a cliffhanger in every episode. And even one episode literally hanging from a cliff.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, man.
I'm just having flashbacks to the summer where I watched like all of Digimon Tamers for no reason.
I didn't jump that far. I only went season 2, and I was like, I'm done. I'll come back like when I'm married with children.
Get him into it. Tamers is good. It's like surprisingly dark for a kid's show.
I think it was my personal favorite Digimon series. You know, if we go into Digimon podcast for a second there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is the off-topic podcast, so we can go on these tangents. Also, I think we're trying to put off what happens after Samael lets you into the tower.
I'm sweating right now just from you saying that.
Ugh.
So the Black Throne, everybody. Show of hands. I can't see any of you, but show of hands if you enjoyed this dungeon. That's what I thought.
Cricket noises.
Mike, we need you just for the cricket noises. Can you edit those in, please? Thank you. It's where to even begin?
Like, I know if we go into like Ocarina of Time, I'm sure one of the things people always talk to you guys about is like, oh, the water temple, you know, that's horrible. I hate the water temple. I would take a picnic and like live in the water temple before I even touch the Black Throne again.
The sad thing is because I reviewed the game before and did it for the podcast. I have played the Black Throne more times than the Ocarina of Time Water Temple, and I hate myself for it. Now, I should preface this by saying that that the Black Throne does contain one of the coolest ideas this game has, as well as a kind of another blatant rip from another game. They literally give you the portal gun. Straight up, it's the portal gun. It shoots blue and orange portals that you walk between. And that's the key dungeon item for this. And it's a cool idea for a Zelda type dungeon. Too bad they don't properly teach you how to use it, and almost all the puzzles require it. And God, the Black Throne is too dang long.
Oh God,
that's its problem. That's its problem right there.
Yeah, I felt like the Black Throne should have been treated like a regular dungeon size, with using the portal guns like only a couple of times rather than like the whole dungeon. And that goes back to like the one-off gameplay gimmicks. And like I understand it. You want to keep elaborating or creating more elaborate puzzles with the use of the portal gun. I was like, I really enjoyed those puzzles. They really did well. But it got to the point where it was more time consuming than it is me trying to solve the puzzle because, like, perfect example, when you're going to like each section of the whatever the tower thing to go get the I don't know what the shine not shine I was gonna say shine spark but the I don't know why I said that no but whatever that light to for whatever, and you have to go through like more or less like that I don't want to say bridge but like just that empty platforming bit. You have to use the portal gun for all for that. Block. Yeah, I thought that was a little too much, especially when, like, did they even explain that you can shoot the portal into the portal?
They do not.
Okay.
I can attest to it.
And I'm already terrible with ADD, or I should just say my game ADD, more accurately. I didn't even read about the velocity, like the longer you charge it, the faster or higher the velocity when you jump into it. That proved a big issue with the first, or the first or whatever tower's boss. I didn't know how to fight him. How about you guys? How did you go about fighting him? And I'll tell you how I dealt with it.
I went. Well, sorry, Peter. You go.
Oh, I did it the normal way.
Yeah, I went the long, hard route.
Okay, for me. Because I didn't understand the whole velocity bit, because I just sped through the text because I'm a terrible human being, I kept jumping through the portals like, I just can't reach high enough. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I thought, alright, maybe I remember that I could hookshot, like, I think to certain big creatures you can hookshot to. I was like, maybe I can shoot over to that thing and, like, jump high enough. I was like, alright, I'll try that. And this was after, like, thinking, oh, maybe I can shoot a portal into the floor, and then he hits it with his, Morning Star or whatever. And then maybe if I put a portal on the other end, he'll hit the floor, it'll come out and hit him on the head. I was like, well, that's Looney Tune crap. That's not going to work out that way.
You're overthinking that fight.
Yeah,
way
like, I was really overthinking. I'm like, it was like, this is about to turn to, like, some Scooby-Doo garbage. So I thought, alright, I'm just going to try to bring myself to him. And that's what I did. I shot over to him, did a two-sword air combo, and then I did another shot, and that raised me high enough where I could hit the action button and attack him. And I was like, wow, this is really easy. Like, I just do this, like, the boss is done after, like, 3 rounds of this. And I'm like, the boss fights took, like, maybe 3 minutes at most for each round. I was like, alright, cool. I mean, I didn't even need that gun. Why'd you give it to me?
Speedrunning jukes right there.
Oh man,
that's crazy. But no, the game does tell you about the velocity thing, where if you hold down the button while you're shooting a portal, it'll make you fly higher and further depending on the angle, which it's critical to a bunch of puzzles in this dungeon where you want to propel yourself across a platform or get yourself to a higher ledge.
Yes. I do want to know that I did discover that when I had to get to the second part, because you needed to do that velocity thing to get to it. So I did discover it on my own stupidity. And
but it does. But I don't think, and they never explicitly tell you. I don't think you can fire a portal into a portal to create another portal. And just saying that it just becomes a headache. And the biggest problem with that is that the video game rule of threes comes into play, because that mini boss Marcos mentioned, you have to fight him 3 times.
And the arena is set up differently each time, I believe. Like the third time it's like on the wall, I think.
Yeah, the third time's the easiest one, because you just jump out of the wall and float over to him like woo doo 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 doo. And then you have to do the same puzzle where you're redirecting the beams of light back to the central chamber to set Azrael free, and he won't shut up. And navigating that circling thing in the middle of the room is a huge pain in the butt, and that scale puzzle I can't say words that I want to say on the podcast right now. Ugh.
Yeah, I thought I had the scale puzzle down pat until the blocks started getting put into limbo and going back and forth. That was a fun time.
It's not consistent whether or not they'll go through the portals or not. And even like I ended up looking up a guide for this one, and even the guide was like, "Look, this puzzle doesn't always work. So the best thing
this game sometimes works.
So this puzzle doesn't work. So so my advice, the advice it gave was just stand on top of the block and hope that it takes you and the block through the portal, so you can jump quickly before the thing descends all the way. Like it ascends all the way. That was its tip.
Oh, jeez.
Speedrunning hacks.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to get this the way they want you to do it. You basically have to tease it out, and like, hate this. This is so bad.
And what's funny is, like, you guys probably had trouble with that. I didn't have trouble with that. I don't know why. It was one of those dumb luck things where the first part where you had to change the floors that rised and fell. I just nailed on the first shot without any thinking. And I guess that luck carried over because I just shot the two cubes or rather the cubes into the right ones the first time, jumped up, removed a cube, elevated, and everything was just honky dory.
Look at Lucky Marcos here.
I think it was I guess apologizing for making me go through that baloney in the first boss fight. It's like, all right, listen, I'll throw you a bone. I like to think that because I was playing easy mode, it was like, all right, we'll give you this. This puzzle is broken. just ride on, jump on, and we'll bring you up.
Didn't the Silent Hill games actually do that? Silent Hill 2 would actually lower puzzle difficulty.
Oh, really?
Did it?
I heard that was the case. I never actually played it. It's been on the pile of shame for a while.
Oh, I've been too scared.
that too. But
no, that would be interesting though. Definitely, if the puzzles change up. Actually, sorry to go a little bit off topic, but one of my personal games I've been playing recently has been Ys Origin.
Oh yeah.
And I've been slowly stacking up the difficulty as I've been playing with new characters, and I've actually noticed the puzzles have been changing as it gets harder. Like bridges will fall apart that before were just kind of like floating platforms. Now you only had a second to jump off them and keep going. And I thought that was a cool way. Yeah, not only is the combat harder, but you also have to work harder to solve the puzzles.
See, I think that's really that's very cool that they match that difficulty with the puzzles and not like, oh yeah, these monsters kill you in one shot.
Mm.
And I think Resident Evil does that with their, or at least Resident Evil 4 does that. Like if you keep dying, they make it a little easier for you. Like they won't put so many like bad guys in a single like in an area. But if you're doing really well, it's like, okay, all right, hotshot, you're good. We're gonna fill this room with mad baddies. Because I was watching a YouTube video of this, and if I'm to believe him, and everything he says is true, then that's very smartly done. And if I know video games did not do that for me on this second puzzle, but that would have been cool if that was the case.
Something to consider. Nordic, if by any chance you're listening to this podcast and you're interested in making Darksiders 3, hit us up. We have ideas.
Retro at RPGfan.com.
Yes, right there. Josh might check it occasionally. But and the funny thing too is the black throne, hardest dungeon in the game, easiest boss.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what was the boss again?
It's the tutorial boss again, but now he has a portal on his back.
Oh, that's right. I completely...
Yeah, because they had to hastily rewrite the story that, oh no, you're actually totally pissed about that one demon you fought at the beginning who killed you, and you want to get revenge on him.
Oh yeah, Straga.
Yeah, Straga.
I like the name, but like the encounter, I was like, oh, don't make him like stupid goofy. I liked it when he was just more menacing. Like
yeah.
When like during the fight, I was like, man, who's this goofy character? How did he kill us?
Don't let him talk to me. Just keep him menacing and mysterious.
all you do is like teleport onto his back, hit him. He summons mobs that are like trash mobs that aren't going to do anything to you at this point because you're like here. And his attacks are like his attacks don't even do that much damage. Like it's such a lame boss.
Okay, so his hammer attack doesn't do much damage to you on normal difficulty?
It's
At least
survivable.
Okay.
Like,
I was getting whacked like crazy on easy.
I mean, I think it's telegraphed so much that it's like his initial hammer attack is telegraphed so much that it doesn't really matter. And for his big swinging frenzy thing, like it either isn't gonna, you're either out of the way or you can get through it at this point.
Yeah, you can just dodge out of it and you won't get hit by it.
It also helps though that one of the actually I wanted to ask you guys, did either of you guys find the Fury's Embrace a weapon augment in the dungeon?
What's that? Is that the one where it makes your blade bleed?
No. It's the one where it's one of the, there are 4 legendary enhancements that I think they're based off of the Horsemen themselves, because there's another one based on Strife.
Yeah.
But Fury's Embrace gives you wrath for every hit you land. And it's a permanent horde seeker. It shows the location of every treasure chest in the entire world map.
Oh no, I didn't find that.
That would have been so nice.
It is really useful. Like it shows you everything, and it also makes so you don't even need to find the horde seeker in the Black Throne if you find this because it's probably the best weapon augment in the game, I think.
Yeah. The only legendary I had gotten was the Strife's Fury, because that's the one that really increases your ranged weaponry, correct?
Yeah, because Strife uses guns. Apparently.
Yeah, and that worked out really well for me, because I liked using the Crossblade and Mercy a lot. Like, It was a good combo for me, but like I said, that was the only legendary one that I had found. So.
Yeah, I found Wrath and Fury. I didn't find any for Death or War.
Which one increases your your chaos drastically?
I don't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one that I had. Like it raises like whatever your chaos eater like weapon, it like drastically increases that up. So I was getting the chaos mode pretty easy, or whatever mode they call it. I already forgot this point.
I think it's just chaos form.
Balrog of Morgoth.
Chaos control. Actually, can we?
You're not even good enough to be my fake.
Can we? I was like, can we edit in Obama saying chaos control?
I'll show you who's the faker.
Chaos.
You mean the Chaos Emerald?
Oh God.
We are retro encounter is now meme trash encounter. Thank you very much.
Again, retro at rpgfan.com.
Let us know what you think of this new change in direction.
God.
Okay. Anyway, so after you beat Straga, Angel Dude Azrael takes you to the Garden of Eden out of nowhere, and you fight Dark War, the Dark Link fight, basically. And you get a little premonition for the future of the game, which isn't all that long, because by this point you have like less than an hour left, so I don't know why they bothered with all the mystery and portents. And after that, you get to go backtrack. It's the Triforce hunt, you guys. Everyone loved that, right? Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, like the one from Wind Waker where you try to collect all of it to make the Triforce.
Oh god.
Yes. It's so obvious padding.
Yeah. Like it's funny because like there were places in there was like I say places, I lied. Just one place in the Ashlands that I went. I'm like, man, there's something cool here, and there's a red crystal and it is blocking my way. What do I have to do to get past this? And then I realized, I have to put that mask that you get in the Garden of Eden. What is it, the Shadow Realm mask or whatever?
The
Mask of Shadows.
Oh, Mask of
The Shadow Realm mask, Yugi boy.
before I get banished to the Shadow Realm. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's what you need to put there. I was like, oh, well, that's dumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very, even picking up the pieces of the, you're collecting a sword throughout this whole thing. Even getting the pieces was very anticlimactic. There was no real puzzle or like extra special boss fight, minus one, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a moment. But everything else is just kind of like you literally go to the spot, pick up the item, and that's it.
Now, and to be fair, this is an opportunity to go back to different areas of the game and find those treasure chests you couldn't get earlier. Now you have the hook shot, you have the mask, so you can see things that were invisible previously, which is bullcrap. But you can start collecting get more weapon augments, get more life shards and wrath cores, and you can get the rest of the abyssal armor, which is the abyssal armor. I think we mentioned before. There are 10 collectible pieces of armor that you can find, some of which are in dungeons, some of which are in the overworld, and once you get all of them, you get kind of a neat little alternate design for War, where he has black armor and his eyes are all like in shadow, and it's super cool looking. And it's also the win button, because after you get that armor, you'll leech life from everything you hit, and you basically can't die. You have like 4 times as much armor.
So glorious.
Yep, and even on easy mode, like I didn't even want to collect on an easy mode because I felt like that would be just like immortal mode, or just typing in power overwhelming into StarCraft. Everything, I'm just invincible.
It is worth the hassle of finding them though, and I think it actually carries over to a new game if you've gotten it the first time.
Oh, that's cool.
Which should make if you want to play it on the higher difficulty, that should make things a lot easier. But yeah, that's kind of neat. But really the only thing of significance that happens in the story during that point is so you found out by this point that Abaddon, who is the leader of the Angels, is now the Destroyer, and he did this whole conspiracy thing to start the apocalypse and frame it on the Horsemen, and basically he wanted to, and now he is the Destroyer. He is Satan. And the female angel who'd been attending him, Uriel, still blames War for all this, so she shows up and challenges you to a duel to the death. Literally a you owe me your life now deal.
Yeah, I think it's like a contract, like a life contract, like they can't exit until like one of them's dead.
Which I do feel like I feel like for that moment to have had any sort of like real resonance, they should have just introduced it when you fought her the first time.
Yeah. I was thinking that. Yeah, that would have been great.
Instead of just literally out of nowhere in the last hour, BT Dubs, we are now blood enemies. But Keegan, you had something to say about the Uriel fight, right?
Yes, it wasn't actually about the fight itself, but it was something that really caught my eye at the end of it. There's a little cutscene afterwards where War tells Uriel about who Abaddon is now and everything that's happened. And it really caught my eye how much of a jump the cinematography of that scene had made from the previous cutscenes. It was almost like something out of a very well-designed movie. Like, there would be a shot of Uriel's face, and it would pan slowly, and by the time it crosses over her wing, you're seeing a whole different scene going on without there being a break before it comes back to other characters. Like, it was a beautiful panning shot that just caught me off guard, because I wish I'd seen more of that in the game.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if it seems pretty clear that they wanted to develop this part more. Almost like maybe they wanted there to be more story content here, but they had a lot of game already, or they spent most of their development resources on that first half of the game. But no, it is. But yeah, you're right. It's definitely it's a cool scene, and it's a bit of a different tone from the other scenes. They also try to go for something a little bit more tragic with Abaddon. before the final boss, they literally have him quoting Milton and doing the whole thing with Uriel, where he's like, "She mistook me for someone else." Like he remembers what he used to be before he became another Balrog, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a universal design for flaming demons, apparently.
Even though it's a shame, like just going back to that cinematography, and I heard already mentioned this. Like after that fight, I was like, man, like, oh sweet cutscene, and then I accidentally hit the skip button, so I have no context for that, and I was like, man, I hope that wasn't important. But it was like, I won't lie, I did go through the Wikipedia of the story like the day before, like wrapping it up, and I was like, man, this Wikipedia is like wrapping this game up really fast in like 4 sentences. And then when I finally played the last part, I was like, wow, those 4 sentences were like very accurate.
Yeah, because literally you collect the Armageddon blade, and then you go to fight the final boss. You get one more cutscene, and you're done.
Yeah, it was like collect 7 pieces, fight Uriel, boom, done. Go fight Abaddon. I was like, man, oh, Mark Hamill.
Yeah, you murder Mark Hamill.
And then the credits just roll. Oh, and speaking of the credits, how do we feel about the endings? Rather, not the credits, the ending.
They just dangle you off a cliff at that point, and it's painful because it's just, the very end of it is Uriel being like, "We're gonna hunt you. There'll be others too. You can't fight this war alone." And he looks up and he's like, "I'm not alone." You see 3 comments, which we assume are the other riders, and then black. The end.
Yeah,
bye, guys.
It's frustrating too because aside from just the fact that the game just rushes headlong into the climax, and that scene is resolved so quickly, it's a cliffhanger we're probably never going to see resolved because Vigil went out of business. And Darksiders 2, the sequel they did make, is this weird side story interquel thing that ends on the same cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's almost worse being in the future, I can only imagine what it would have been like, because you played it when it first came out, right, Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine how you felt being like, I can't wait for the next few sequels.
And it's like, I mean, the prospect of playing one of these games, but with all 4 horsemen, is a tantalizing one. Because there's still 2 horsemen we haven't even met for real yet. We've seen their silhouettes, and we know their fury and strife, but that's it. Like, it's one of those things where, like, if Nordic, who owns the rights to the Darksiders series now, would be interested in making another one, I mean, I'd be interested. I'd be down. They've gone to the trouble of remastering these 2.
Yeah, so there has to be, aside from us, obviously, there has to be some demand for the game out there.
They're bringing it to the Wii
U. Which we all know right now is the leading competitor in the video game scene. Like,
it's not dying like anytime soon, right?
No, it's still going strong, man.
All right.
It's not like they literally don't make them anymore.
I was like, we're done. Let's wrap this up. But we'll end it with the War Master Edition Wii U. Boom, kill it.
Darksiders is the last Wii U game. Just think about that.
Actually, is it officially the last Wii U game?
I can't think of anything else coming out for it. Yooka-Laylee was canceled its Wii U version and went to the Switch.
Yes, it was switched to the Switch.
Yep, set myself up for that one, didn't I?
Okay.
No, go ahead, Keegan. You probably have more to say about this game than that.
Well, the one thing I was looking at before I was taking a deeper look at THQ Nordic, who now has the rights to Darksiders and everything, and I was looking through their catalog of games and like series that they already own, and Darksiders is probably one of the strongest series that they have. So I would genuinely be surprised if there wasn't anything from them.
Yeah,
I mean, I say that, but then I remember, Konami, and I get hurt again, so we never know. But
Konami, we have literally one of the strongest gaming libraries in history. We're gonna make pachinko machines and shitty mobile apps.
it's so counterintuitive, and it makes me so angry. So much good stuff, but
you don't know true Konami hatred until you play the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, though.
Oh, that's true. I forgot.
They have gone to such lengths to screw this fan base over, and I'm like, this is like the worst case of Stockholm syndrome in the world. Anyway, that's neither here
nor there. I mean, if they do ever make a third one, or rather, like I don't even want to play a third one. Just do Darksiders 4 and just skip over 3. And just make
they skip the war.
Just skip one of the riders and it goes right into the fourth one, and they include all of them, and then just turn it into like one big like action RPG, or even heck, turn it into a Valkyrie Chronicle game. Do something even crazy, and I'll love it, because I really want 4 of them to be fighting side by side.
I'd be down. I'm picturing a fantasy scenario where some game producer is like, so this one has guns, right? And we end up with Darksiders Call of Juarez or something. I don't know.
No, man. Darksiders on-rail shooter. That's where it's at.
I threw up a little in my mouth thinking about
It'll be like what they did with Until Dawn,
Oh, yeah, right, because that was a thing.
Yeah. It's a logical evolution, You have a very serious, intense adventure, almost visual novel-like game. Let's take it to an insane action-packed on-rail shooter. Because that's what the fans want and need.
Oh my gosh. Or even better, make it into a side-scroller. Like a side-scroller game, and you just jump on like demon's heads and they give you coins and mushrooms.
We're keeping to the spirit of the original by ripping off other games.
You know what? If that's what they were like, they continue doing, just doing that, I would like invest in this. I would buy stock into this series just for like that kind of amusement. But I know that's not what they're doing. But like I'm just like a bitter old man. My avatar is pretty accurate to how I am sometimes. But I like in the end, I do enjoy this game, even though I sound so like against it. Like as long as I get 2 months to play this, just like little bits and bursts at a time. Yeah, I said it, 2 months because I'm pretty slow with games. This would be fine with me. But just like playing it like continuously, I'm like, I feel like this game should have been longer so they could elaborate with their like the weaponry they give you, rather than having like, oh, this works in this one area, and then it doesn't really work anywhere else. The only like item that you got later that made a difference really to me was nothing. Okay, I'm lying. Nothing made a difference. It was still in the black tower.
Still up for the hook shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would step in and say the hook shot was probably my favorite endgame item.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call that one endgame. I think what returned and used it was useful with, I guess, the Chronosphere in one of the puzzles in the Black Tower. I was like, all right, that's cool you brought that back, because I completely forgot about that little gimmick thingy. And then I just never saw that again. I was like, I just wanted like a final boss where you had to use your items. Like maybe your Abaddon's going really fast in his demon form, like that big arena where he's charging at you like a bull, and you had to slow him down like with the Chronosphere for whatever reason. And then you would like hook shot on top of him and then like stab him in the back. Again, retro at rpgfan.com. And
Say, Marcos, why are you here? Go work for THQ Nordic.
And that would be like enough reason to use a horseback, or rather ruin, or like, because the way you jump off a ruin is like, don't you do like this large somersault off him? Like, yeah, he gets ups like a basketball player.
Yeah,
yeah, like that'd be great if you could jump on him, hook shot to his back, attack him, and heck, you know what? Use that gauntlet. Say there's a diamond on his back, and you smash it, and then it exposes its weak point. There you go. There's the idea. It's like that would have been really cool for a final boss. It would have been fulfilling. But
Marcos, I think you just created the best Darksiders final boss.
Like that's kind of what I wanted. I know I played on easy mode, but I do feel like there could have been something more to it. Like rather than feeling like like the Twilight Princess Ganon fight where it's like running around the room, because that's what I felt like Abaddon was doing, just running around, and like half the time he kind of was just tripping on his feet when I slashed him once with my sword while I was on the horse. And at least
the Ganondorf fight in Twilight Princess has 4 phases of escalating difficulty and like story stuff going on. Like
and then we get like the only phase we get with Abaddon is Samurai Abaddon in the second fight, and that's it.
Samurai Abaddon.
Yeah, well, didn't he have like a huge katana that looked like some from Separate?
Pretty much.
We just can't stop ripping off.
Swans Interiors.
Like, give me a chorus in the background. I don't care anymore. I'll take anything at this point.
Abaddon looks less like Sephiroth and more like your like 6th grade 40k army. So
what I gotta look up what he looks like. Evil
Abaddon. That wasn't right.
I wonder if that. No, I'm just getting No, I'm getting something from a TV show. So even then, they don't even want to acknowledge Abaddon. Darksiders, Evil Abaddon. I'm pretty sure it's like something else. Let's see what this gets me. Yeah. No, it won't even let me see it. It's like, no, we don't want to show you this. It just shows me the regular Abaddon.
Joe, and I love the art style in this game. Like Joe Madurei's comic book art style is fitting and it's cool. But I think Yahtzee said it best in an episode of Zero Punctuation when he was talking about war. But I think this applies to Abaddon. It's like someone sat down, started drawing him, and then never stopped.
That's very true. It's like, give him an eye patch, give him feathers for shoulders, give him a big sword, put two scroll things on the side of his right side. It's like, what are they? I don't know. Don't explain it.
They look cool. Stop. Keep writing.
We subscribe to the Tetsuya Nomura School of Character Design, where if you can put an extra belt somewhere, do it.
Jeez. Like, I do appreciate like Lulu's dress just being nothing but belts. Like in the front, I was like, wow, that is very uncomfortable during the hot season, I'm assuming.
But I bet it won't fall down.
Hopefully.
You'd think that, but she's with Waka, so who knows?
True. Oh my gosh. Gosh, I'm Abaddon.
Okay, well, now that we're talking about Final Fantasy X's fashion choices, I should assume that we're done talking about Darksiders. Do we have any last lingering thoughts?
My personal feeling, because like we had mentioned earlier, we have been talking about some of the negative aspects of the game. I feel like I wouldn't mention it so much if I didn't see the good underneath it and like how much potential there really is for this game,
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like, and of course it does have some really fun parts and amazing parts, but it feels like there could be so much more. And in the hopes that, THQ Nordic is silently listening to us, I just feel like we should really talk about, the things that have been not so great. And that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah. That's pretty much where I'm at, Keegan. It's, I really game. I think at one point I was calling it one of my favorite games of the last generation. Not sure if I'd go that far anymore, just having re-experienced the Black Throne again. But it's definitely one of those things where I wish we would see more games like this, and I hope that they decide to do something with the license. I really do. It has potential.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just work on that potential. Again, you have our information. I can give you more boss designs for you, and just run with it. Like I want to see this series prosper. Even though, like, again, I'm very sarcastic with some of my comments, but I genuinely did enjoy this game. I just have a weird way of showing it.
Well, so where can THQ Nordic find us? We've mentioned retro@rpgfan.com, where we would gladly take any readers who wish to write us, or game developers looking for advice on how to make sequels to their games. But where can we find you, Marcos?
Oh, you can find me either on the website like as Wild Armor on the boards, so you can message me on there or on Twitter at Rhythmro.
And what about you, Keegan?
You guys can find me on the forums. I go by Fozzie Bear there. On Twitter, you can find me at Kaylee Brand. Feel free to stop by, say hi. You know, pretty friendly. Like to play a lot of games. Share, usernames. Hang out. Good stuff.
And I have Fury on Twitter, which is the same as my name on the boards. Come follow me if you want updates on RPG fan stuff. I occasionally talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm funny sometimes. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not doing a good job of selling myself, but that's not the point.
Keep going.
The point is that there's more Retro Encounter on the way. Next month we're going to be doing Dragon Quest V. It's amazing RPG, one of the best, very near and dear to the hearts of many members of the RPG fan staff. Just remember, if you liked this episode, you want to listen to more, subscribe to us on iTunes. Give us a rating. We do really appreciate the feedback we get from our listeners. Helps us make the show better. Just kind of gives us the drive, the motivation to keep going through dungeons like the Black Throne. But with that being said, for myself, for Keegan, for Marcos, this has been Retro Encounter!